All right, let's do another hyperbola problem. So we're given this equation in general form. We're going to want to convert this into standard form so that we can answer the information asked about our hyperbola. So let's go ahead and start working on that. So I've got the form x squared minus 9y squared plus 6x minus 18y minus 9. So what I want to do is I want to group the x's and the y's together. So I'm going to want x squared plus 6x. The y's, I've got negative 9y squared minus 18y. I'm going to take this minus 9 and I'm going to add it over here. All right, the next thing that I want to do is I want to take out any GCFs so that my squared terms are singular, okay, meaning there's a 1 in front of them. So for the x squared, this is fine. So this is just going to come down and I'm going to get ready for completing the square. So x squared plus 6x plus blank. Here though, I do need to take a GCF out. So I can take 9y out, but I'm going to leave the y's, okay, because I want this to be in quadratic form. I'm going to take a minus 9 out. And I want to keep it a minus because I need to keep that minus in the middle for the hyperbola. So I'm taking a negative 9 out. That's going to give me a y squared plus 2y, and then plus blank. And then I'm going to have 9 over on this side. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is my complete the square step. So my complete the square step is b over 2 squared, okay, on each quadratic term. So that would be the 6. So 6 over 2 squared. 6 over 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So that goes right here. So I'm going to add 9 here. If I did it to this side, I've also got to go on this side. And then my quadratic here, my b is 2. 2 over 2 squared is going to be 1 squared. 1 squared is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 here. Now, when I add something where I've taken a GCF out, I have to also take that into consideration. So I'm going to add 1, but it's going to be 1 times my GCF of negative 9. So if I take a GCF out in this prior step here, it's got to come in when I add my complete the square to the opposite side. Next step, what I'm going to do is I am going to factor. Okay, so x squared plus 6x plus 9 will factor to x plus 3 squared. Okay, then this is going to be minus 9. Y squared plus 2y plus 1 will factor to y plus 1 squared. And then 9 plus 9 plus 1 times negative 9 gives me 9. Next thing I want to do is set this equal to 1, meaning I'm going to divide everything by this term here. So divide everything by 9. Okay, that's going to give me this, x plus 3 squared over 9 minus, these 9's are going to cancel, so y plus 1 squared. Sometimes you might see it written with nothing underneath here, but I do like to keep a 1 there when I'm doing the hyperbolas, and then equals 1. Okay, so a couple things about this. This is the equation of my hyperbola, which means I'm in the form x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So I can get my center. So let's see here. We're going to have a center at negative 3, negative 1. Okay, when I pull the h and the k out of there, I'm going to have an a of 3, and I'm going to have a b of 1. Okay, because a squared was 9, so to get a, I would take the square root. Okay, which means when I'm in this form, my asymptote is b over ax. Okay, and so when I'm putting that in, I also want to add my h and k because the center is not at 0, 0. So my asymptote is going to be y minus k, so y minus negative 1, so y plus 1, equals plus or minus b over a, so 1/3, and then x minus h, so minus negative 3 gives me that plus 3 there. So that's the equation for my asymptote. I don't need that part if I'm graphing it, but this one is asking us the equation, so we're going to need that. That should be all you need to pick out the correct answer here, but if you wanted to continue and graph it, okay, with an x squared equation, if we look at the formulas, x squared, okay, you're going to look like this. So your center, you plot your center. Let me see if I can actually pull a graph up. All right, so our center is at -3, -1. You'll be able to see everything here. Okay. So -3, -1 right here, we're going left and right. Okay, our parabola is going to be looking somewhat like this. I know my A, so that A is going to give me my vertices, so 3. So if A is 3, then I'm going to go 3 left and 3 right. So 1, 2, 3, so right there, 1, 2, 3, right there. Okay, those are going to give me my points for my vertices. So what is that? -6, -1, and 0, -1. Well, let me not write on the graph because we're going to actually graph this. Hold on. And then -0, -1. Okay, and then let's go ahead and graph it. So we want to use the asymptote. So you can do this for the entire equation, but I just use this part to get the slope because I count from the center. If you're going to count from the get it into y equals mx plus b form and then go to the y-intercept and do all of that, you can do that. But if you just count from the center, you're just going to go up 1 over 3 and then down 1 over 3. So you can get these two asymptotes. So this is going to go like that. This one is going to go like this, roughly. There we go. That's better. And then this is what the graph is going to look like. Okay, and then you have everything you need. You have your center, you have your vertices, you have your asymptotes. The answer here is C. Oh, your foci. So you can find your foci. That's going to be C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Okay, so we would get C squared by going A squared would be 3 squared, so 9. B squared is 1 squared, so 1. So this is going to be square root of 10. Okay, C squared is 10, so C is going to be the square root of 10. And then since the foci is counted from the center, that's where this is coming from. So I'm counting from the center. So -3 minus the square root of 10, this way, -1, and -3 plus the square root of 10, -1. So that's where that's coming from here. And then the transverse axis is parallel to the x-axis. This is your transverse axis. It's parallel to the x-axis. So that's everything you need for this problem.